We need to bear in mind that there are laws and rules and regulations that those who work in public relations do have to abide by. For example, of the many business laws, those that would be of particular concern to those working in public relations include the following. The law of contract. Clearly, if you are going to be working for a PR consultancy and a client wishes you to work for them, there needs to be a contract between yourselves and that organisation. That has to have 3 particular elements within it. One is an offer. They're offering you to work for them. Secondly would be the unconditional acceptance of the offer by yourselves. And thirdly, consideration in the form of an exchange or sacrifice. How much are they going to be paying you per hour, per individual working on the account, or indeed perhaps on a monthly basis. So there does need to be a law of contract in place when there's work between a company, an organisation and its PR consultancy. Again, it would be similar if it's between a company and one of its employees working either in PR or indeed elsewhere in the company. So the law of contract has to be considered. In particular in PR, you have to consider the consideration of defamation. Defamation is to do with the damaging of the character of a person, for example, or the damage to the reputation of another organisation or one of its products or services. This is very important if you work in public relations. You cannot just do as your manager says in this respect, if you're working in-house. You cannot just do as your client suggests if you're working for a PR consultancy. If they ask you to write a news release to go to the media that is disparaging to another person or another company or another of its products or services, you must then investigate that for yourself, do your own research to ensure that what they're asking you to write is correct. You must have support, you must have proof in relation to what you're writing. If you're going to write something that is going to be bad news to the person, reputation of that person or that other company or product, and later on it cannot be proven, then that will fall upon you and your organisation, if you are a consultancy, rather than your client, if you're issuing this to the media. So you have to consider defamation. Damages may be sought by this other party if what is stated about the organisation or the person or their product cannot be proven. If it is bad news but cannot be proven. If you're saying that their product is inferior to the product made by your client, for example. So there are 2 forms of defamation, and one has to bear these in mind. One is called libel, that is the written form, if you send out a news release to the media, for example. The other might be if someone acts as a spokesperson and is interviewed on television or indeed on radio, perhaps within a news bulletin, and something is spoken, something is oral about a person, another company, another product, and it is damaging to them. Now that is not libel, that is called slander. So libel is written, slander is spoken, and each of these are forms of defamation. If you produce something of this nature and it cannot be proven at a later date, that will have a bad effect on you, on the reputation of your PR consultancy. It will have a bad effect on the reputation of you personally, and possibly have a detrimental effect on your own career. So unless you do the necessary research to prove or disprove a situation before you speak about it or write about it, you could be damaging your own future prospects. Another consideration is passing off, when companies try to pass off one product as another. This could be in the name, very similar to the name of another company's product. It could be indeed in the packaging, when the packaging is so similar that people buy one product in the belief that they're buying another. This is normally when a lesser known company is trying to take advantage of the reputation made by a more well known company. Oddly enough, this happened some years ago in the UK to do with the company Sainsbury's, the supermarket company. They came out with a cola and the can, the packaging, was so similar to Coca-Cola, and it was placed in a position where Coca-Cola had been placed previously. People came along shopping, they picked up the cans, put them in their shopping basket or trolley, went home, later on found that they didn't have Coca-Cola at all. They had actually picked up and taken home Sainsbury's Cola. Coca-Cola announced that they would actually take Sainsbury's to court unless they did something about it. They immediately changed the packaging. Another law of consideration is the Trade Descriptions Act, how you go about describing products and whether that is a correct description or not. So there are many laws that have to be considered when working in public relations. In addition to that, you have to bear in mind that you as an individual can become a member of the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. You can take examinations and, if successful, have those letters after your name, which is quite important then if you send your CV into a company to try to gain a job in PR within that company. So a member of the CIPR is an opportunity for you if you wish for a career in public relations. But also if you work within a PR consultancy, they have the opportunity to be a member of the IPRA, a member of the International Public Relations Association. That means that they have a reputation to maintain, to allow them to remain members of that, and any bad activity, any damaging activity can reflect on their membership of that organisation, and perhaps they'll be asked to relinquish their membership, and that may mean they may lose current clients and indeed potential future clients. So the Public Relations Consultants Association is something that a company can become members of, a PR consultancy can become members of. So we have to consider laws, we have to consider codes of conduct. IPR, CIPR codes of public relations conduct when conducting PR activities. This is to maintain our own reputation. If you remember earlier on, I told you the definition for public relations according to the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. That relates also to your own reputation and the reputation of the organisation for which you work, if you work for a PR consultancy. Also, of course, for the reputation of the PR department that you work in, if you're working within in-house PR.